something happened. Not sure which fire department. I'll go back there to get out of the way. I have a tanker truck. That means there was a fire on the incorporated side. Because we don't have fire hydrants. Huh. They're tapping water out of the fire hydrant. Most unusual. In all the years that I've lived here, I have never seen that. There's the North Star. Twinkle. Whenever there's like emergency vehicles, there always has to be that guy, me, the camera guy, somebody whipping out their phone, recording. It has to be annoying. That's why I'm doing it from a distance. Smells like water though, like water that's spilled all over and is like evaporating in the heat. Huh. Well, actually, here's a case where I know as much as you guys do, probably, which is about a whole hill of about nothing. When it gets dark out around here, they almost never run the sirens, just lights. I mean, I don't mind if they run the sirens. Who's the Karen that complains? I prefer that they have the siren going. I still got the hose connected to the hydrant. I am not close enough to determine if that other vehicle in front of it is a ambulance or some sort of support vehicle. I guess I could walk down there with my camera. But We're not going to do that. King, your viewers are demanding quality videos, quality content. You're losing subscribers. Oh well, I don't know what to say about that. There's not really a lot of scraps out there. Well, I guess maybe I'll get to finding some scrappy bits today or something. Maybe I'll record it and share it with everybody. See what y'all think. Doesn't seem like my videos get more than 300 views, though. Like when I'm picking up scoops at the curbside, guess people aren't really interested in the scooping. What other things? I That's great. Like Mr. Scrapperty's doing something new and different, like selling at the flea market. There's, there's a channel that's growing, because of that. Must be nice to have a flea market not too far away. Something that's halfway decent. We don't got nothing like that around here, and they're seasonal. I think there's another month left to go. The closest one's like 45 miles away, something like that. It's like well, it depends on what day you do it on. They're open Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sunday is the most expensive day, probably because it has the most people. So, like a Sunday would probably be $150 endeavor, like the cost. So, that's the problem. You have to have like $150 worth of stuff at least just to break even. I don't know. I've always wanted to try. I've done it. I did flea markets before. Like when I lived in Chicago, there was a Swap-O-Rama like about 2 miles away. This is when I was a kid. Like there was no age restriction. I had a wagon attached to my bicycle, and I would drag that all the way to the flea market with all kinds of crap that I found going up and down the alleys on my bike. And I would set up, and that was my hustle, along with cutting grass for older neighbors and stuff. And in the wintertime, shoveling snow, or getting out my snow blower and doing people's driveways and stuff like that. Uh, those were my main hustles. I did the flea market thing probably until I was about 18 or something like that. Then I had a real job when I was in high school, like at 16, working for my uncle. So I was actually doing pretty good for a little kid. It was still poverty. doing that kind of, I don't care who you are, that's freaking poverty. Selling garbage. Yeah. And when I graduated high school, I stopped doing flea marketing crap. I was like definitely into fixing cars and stuff like that and selling them, flipping cars as you would call it. You know, find something really cheap and bondle the rust and detail it inside. Um, primer, the spots, sand the body down on it, and then bring it to Earl Scheib. Yep, $99. I remember when the price went up to $139. I'm like, oh boy, what am I gonna do? 99 bucks when I first started for a paint job. I don't think you get, well, obviously there's no Earl Scheib anymore, but there's no real cheapo car repainting service anymore, except for maybe Mako, and there's nothing cheap about Mako. So $129 for them to paint a bumper. So what I would do is I'd prep the car completely and tape it off and remove chrome things and stuff like that and nameplates so they couldn't screw the job up too badly. Which actually, when I did that, the paint job was actually fabulous. Fabulous. It really was. It had the quality of at the time it had the quality of a like $2,000 or $3,000 paint job. You see, that's where the cheap paint service would screw up, is if you didn't mask off all the parts and remove some, etc. They would paint over stuff, or it wasn't masked off very well. So you get overspray on all kinds of things. But yeah, I figured that problem out right away. Like on my first try, I had that one completely sorted. People were like, "Don't bring your car to Earl Scheib. They're gonna paint over everything." I'm like, "That's what I want them to do. Paint on everything. I'm ready. Understand the assignment here." Anyway, look at this weird thing that I found. It has a tow hitch on it, and it's a seat. It's like a folding seat. What the heck is this thing? It's a seat with two wheels on it and a tow hitch ball. All right, now they're leaving. They totally left. So why would they leave? Why would they leave the? We outweighted them. Well, it sounds like the engine is like going down the block. It almost sounds like it's turning around. There's all the drippy drips from the one vehicle that left. I do know in the city of Chicago, when it gets really hot out, the fire department opens up the fire hydrants. They call it a splashdown. They do that in the hood, They don't do it in like fancy neighborhoods like Beverly. But in the ghetto, to cool off the folks, fly hose. Sort of like loading up tankers here. I've never seen that done before. Oh, steal that tool. Dude forgot the most important tool. That thing right there. Wow. It's a specialized tool to open and close a fire hydrant. Here they don't have in Chicago they have like a lock collar on top of the fire hydrant. And you cannot open them like with that tool right there. That thing would not work at all. You know, like a collar, like like a propane bottle's got like a collar around the top. But you could stick your hand in there and turn the knob. Well, in Chicago they got a lock collar around it, and it's really tight and narrow, and you can never get that tool in there. Besides which, the nut on top is like gigantic, so that tool would never even fit anyway, even without the collar. They did that like a long time ago because kids of firefighter families, like the dad was a firefighter, somehow or another got a hold of some of the tools. Surprising, huh? And they would turn fire hydrants on at will, to have their own splashdown. So the city of Chicago shut that down real quick. All right, kids, what do you think? Is that all the excitement that you need for your Labor Day Monday, or do I need to do more? Do I actually need to make a scrapping video? Your videos are all the same, you never change. Well, if I changed, I wouldn't be me, right? What the heck?